Good evening. I'm Byron Scott with the CTV News Update. Well, another major decision from the Supreme Court today in a setback to the Biden administration's student loan debt forgiveness program. The justices voting 6-3 rejecting the president's plan to cancel $20,000 in personal debt payments. Many groups are reacting with dismay, including the NAACP, which held a press conference this afternoon on the steps of the High Court.
I'm thinking of the folks who can't retire, who can't start a family, who can't buy a home or a car, and so many other dreams that feel out of reach because of student loan debt. We're calling on President Biden to use any means necessary to cancel student debt, because that's what he promised, and we will not give up on that fight. We cannot risk putting people into further economic harm any longer.
The decision impacts some 40 million borrowers, including Jalen Sims, who attends Bowie State University.
I got no what's it called, scholarships, any of that, all towards loans. I'm paying $4,000 every semester. So for 8 semesters, that's $32,000. That's a lot of money. Not many people have jobs that pay $32,000 a year. And what if I don't get my career job, which is a sports broadcaster? How will I pay that back? So it affects me mentally.
The Education Department says payments will resume in October. Well, meantime, the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a Christian web designer from Colorado who refused service to same-sex partners. The conservative majority ruling that Lori Smith has a free speech right under the Constitution to refuse to endorse messages she disagrees with. As a result, the court says she cannot be punished under the state's anti-discrimination law for refusing the design website for gay couples. And reaction continues to pour in over yesterday's Supreme Court decision striking down affirmative action at colleges and universities. Dr. Alvin Thornton is a former Prince George's County School Board chair and Howard professor and author. He says this country has always had race-based affirmative action.
We've had affirmative action for white men for at least 230 years. That's the first thing people got to realize. My grandfather, had basically no rights. He's born in 1889. He had no rights. He couldn't vote, etc. White men, okay, they had affirmative, which means that they were protected by the government. That's what affirmative action means. You're protected by the government. See, black people are unable to vote really until 1965. So you've had affirmative action all these years. They're in control. You couldn't even go. As a 75-year-old black man, I could not go in the South to school. In integrated schools, because what? White people were protected, their kids were protected, they had all the advantages. I couldn't go to the University of Alabama. I couldn't go to Auburn University. That was their affirmative action from the founding of the country until 1965.
Thornton says the decision indicates that democracy in America is in peril. Verizon's 911 service for Verizon Wireless customers in Prince George's, Montgomery, and Charles counties was disrupted this morning. Officials say the disruption was a regional Verizon issue that prevented customers from contacting 911 call centers for about 3.5 hours. Customers are told to call an alternate number in an event of emergency. The issue has since been resolved. The customers should resume calling 911. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott. Coming up, several Maryland laws go into effect tomorrow, including the Healthy Babies Equity Act. We'll have more on that after the break. Stay tuned.
Are you a Maryland homeowner struggling to pay your mortgage or other housing-related bills due to the COVID-19 pandemic? The state of Maryland is offering free help through the Homeowner Assistance Fund. You may be eligible for financial assistance for past due mortgage payments, property taxes, home insurance, HOA fees, and more. You can even apply for help with emergency home repairs. Visit homeownerassistance.maryland.gov or call 833-676-0119 to learn more.
The Healthy Babies Equity Act goes into effect tomorrow, providing Maryland mothers access to pre- and postnatal care, regardless of immigration status. The law provides pregnant mothers with comprehensive medical coverage for up to 4 months after their baby is born. Medicaid may also help pay for patients' health care expenses for up to 3 months prior to their enrollment. In Langley Park today, we heard from several mothers through translators.
This is my home. This is my family's home, and we deserve access to the same care as everybody else. And I am proud that we will tomorrow. I was very worried about the out-of-pocket expenses and the bills I'd have to pay at every checkup. And now a new door has opened. I'll be able to go to the doctor when I need to, not when I can afford it.
To apply for this program, visit the website on your screen, or you can apply in person at your local health department. Well, as Maryland's new cannabis law takes effect tomorrow, the ACLU sends a letter to local police chiefs about the measure. Effective July 1st, police can no longer make stops and searches based solely on the smell of marijuana. The new law states that that an officer must provide evidence of impairment as done with alcohol-impaired stops and searches. Officers can no longer stop or arrest Marylanders over 21 who have cash on hand and a personal use amount of cannabis. And a host of other new laws will be taking effect tomorrow, including some educational reforms. Title IX will now require public schools to provide information on the process and support measures for filing sexual misconduct complaints. Another will prohibit non-public schools and child care providers from using corporal punishment. And higher education institutions can no longer refuse to provide transcripts of current or former students if they owe a debt to the school. Well, 3 years ago, there was a spike in murders of trans men and women in Prince George's County. The violence prompted the police department to create a special LGBTQ plus outreach team. Corporal Tim Green tells us that their outreach work is important.
So it started because of all of the transgender killings that we had over in Landover. So we had about like 3 or 4 maybe in a year. So it was one of those things where the department's kind of like, we need someone to go out and be an advocate for the community pretty much. So there's no secret that the LGBTQIA+ has a rocky kind of relationship with the police department. I mean, that's all over the globe. So we came up with that particular outreach team to be able to give back to the community, but also assist with different things like, and just providing that face where they're like, all right, I know this person knows the lifestyle that I live, they know that they're familiar with the community, so it gives them a better perspective or a better outlook on the situation.
For more information or to speak with an outreach officer, you can do so via the email on your screen. And state police are investigating a fatal 2-car crash in Prince George's County. It happened last night at around 10:40 in the area of southbound I-95, just north of Route 212. Police say a car driven by 24-year-old Michael Daniel of Silver Spring attempted to switch lanes and pass a tractor trailer, and while doing so, he rear-ended a Hyundai Elantra 1 lane over. The impact caused both cars to veer off in different directions, with the Hyundai catching fire. Both occupants died at the scene. Daniel was transported to a local hospital for treatment. And with millions of Americans heading out of town for the July 4th holiday, AAA is reminding motorists to be careful on the roads. July 5th marks the 1-year anniversary of the death of a AAA driver on Route 50 in Bowie. 69-year-old Anthony Okozie was helping a stranded motorist when he was struck by a vehicle and killed. AAA is using the moment to talk about the state's Move Over law.
Move over laws exist in every state in this country. There's some form or fashion of it. Mostly it requires the driver to slow down at the very least. Most states also then require you to move over if it's safe to do so. And this is when you see any emergency roadside worker, be it police, be it fire, ambulance, or our tow truck drivers, or any tow truck drivers for that matter. Here in the state of Maryland, the law also applies to a motorist on the side of the road if they're displaying flashing lights. And effective July 1, it will also be the law of the land in the state of Virginia.
State police will have an increased presence on the highways and roads throughout the holiday. And coming up, Simon Buggs with your Friday Sports Page report. Stay with us.
What's up, everyone? And coming up soon, Bowie Bay Sox manager Kyle Moore speaks on the talent of Orioles player Jordan Westburg, and a basketball player from right here in the DMV commits to playing for his hometown team. Don't move.
And just like that, she starts to grin. The spark of something new begins. There's something in the water. On her own, she's in the zone. Resilience building in her bones. There's something in the water. On and off the boat, she flies. A force of nature on the rise. There's something in the water.
Pet of the week, meet 3-year-old Daisy. The canine is the Great Pyrenees and has a lot of energy. Animal management says she came in as a stray and will do well in any home.
She is on a 5-day hold, but once the hold is up, she is ready to go and go to someone's home and be a forever baby.
And what does it mean, a 5-day hold?
A 5-day hold is basically meaning like she just got here, so she has 5 days till someone claims her. If no one claims her and the 5-day hold is up, someone could come and adopt her. She is a Great Pyrenees. They love water. I have one myself, so a lot of water and a lot of food and treats.
Meantime, Animal Management says close to 100 animals found a new home during last week's adoption event.
All right, everyone, it's time for your Friday sports page. We'll start with the MLB. The Baltimore Orioles will take them diamond tonight, and one player Birds fans should look out for is infielder Jordan Westburg. Westburg was recently called up to join the Orioles after playing for the Norfolk Tides and before that, the Bowie Bay Sox. Westburg is a very skilled player, and Bay Sox manager Kyle Moore is happy to see him shine.
I think just his mental focus and his attention to detail is something that he carries to the park with him every day, and he absolutely killed it in AAA. He played here last year, and he was a pleasure to coach and manage, and I think our minor league player development system has done a phenomenal job with him. But to Westy's credit, he's put in a ton of good work, and all he did was really dominate the minor league. So you got to love when a guy has his track record and gets an opportunity, and we'll be pulling for him.
The Orioles face off against the Minnesota Twins at 7:05. Moving on to some college hoops, the Georgetown men's basketball team has landed a new recruit from right here in the DMV. Caleb Williams, a 4-star prospect from D.C., has announced that he's committed to playing for the Hoyas next year. The 6'7" wing had offers from multiple schools, but chose Georgetown because of the relationship he built with head coach Ed Cooley, who was hired back in March. And along with being rated as a 4-star prospect, Williams is also ranked as a number 2 player in the D.C. area. And that is your Friday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thank you, Simon. Let's now get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, a chance of thunderstorms with a low near 67. Tomorrow, partly sunny with possible storms with a high around 86. Sunday, showers with a high near 90. Monday, partly sunny, possible showers with a high around 92. And now for the community calendar, celebrate the 4th of July with an out-of-this-world space theme. The town of Bladensburg will be holding a fireworks Independence Day celebration. It will include space laser tag, food trucks, and DJ Flavor from 93.9 WKYS. The event will be held on Monday, July 3rd from 6 to 9:30 p.m. at Bladensburg Waterfront Park. For more information, you can visit the website on your screen. And that's our news for tonight. I'm Byron Scott. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Innovation transforms the world, turning the status quo upside down. Innovation created a healthcare system that not only improves the lives of veterans, it transforms the lives of healthcare professionals with unique opportunities to work with industry thought leaders while serving our nation's heroes. The Department of Veterans Affairs, where innovation ensures those who served our nation are served by the very best. See how a career at VA can transform your future.